Iran launched a new wave of missile strikes on Israel early on Monday morning, killing 5 and injuring dozens. Intense blasts shook Tel Aviv just before dawn, likely caused by Israel's defense systems intercepting incoming Iranian missiles. An 80-year-old man was killed in a strike on Bnei Brak overnight, and in the central Israeli city of Petah Tikva, authorities said Iranian missiles hit a residential building, shattering windows and damaging several apartments. Despite these latest attacks, however, Israel's military claims to have achieved aerial superiority over Iran's capital and says it now controls the skies from western Iran to Tehran.
עכשיו ניתן לומר שהשגנו עליונות אווירית מלאה בשמי טהרן. אנחנו תוקפים בזמן אמת חוליות איראניות שמשגרות טילים לעבר מדינת ישראל, וגם לעבר מטוסינו.
The military added that a large-scale bombardment across Iran also knocked out a third of the country's surface-to-surface missiles. Meanwhile, Israeli strikes also hit Iran's western city of Kermanshah on Monday morning, damaging parts of a local hospital and injuring patients, according to local media.
An Iranian state television broadcast was cut short on Monday when an explosion struck the studio live on air in Tehran. An anchor was seen rushing off camera as the studio filled with dust before the broadcast abruptly ended. Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz later confirmed the IDF attacked what he called Iran's propaganda broadcasting authority. The strike came just an hour after Israel issued a widespread evacuation warning for that part of central Tehran. The anchor later reappeared from another studio, reporting that bodies of reporters were at the original site, as images showed the building in flames. In response to the attack, Iran has issued evacuation warnings for Israeli news channels. The attack marks the 4th day of the conflict, with Israel's military now claiming air superiority over the Iranian capital, where smoke was seen rising from multiple sites.
Germany says it's reinforcing security around Israeli and Jewish sites on its territory against possible attacks by Iran, which is engaged in a conflict with Israel. France has already ordered similar measures. Israel's Minister for Diaspora Affairs told Euronews the danger is real and it is higher than ever.
It is obvious that after we managed to hit the top leadership of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, that they would like to revenge and to hit Israeli embassies, Jewish communities, and therefore we need to be much more alert than usual, and we are monitoring everything we can based on OSINT. We have security services who are working with foreign security services to make sure that embassies, Jewish community centers are being protected.
The Israeli minister criticised Belgium, where at least 75,000 people marched in Brussels over the weekend in so-called Red Line protests for Gaza against Israel's policy in the enclave.
And we are highly concerned about what's happening now in Belgium. We see violent demonstrations. We see signs of wanted people against Jewish leaders, rabbis in the streets of Belgium. We've seen no condemnation. We've seen no action from the authorities in Belgium. And we hope that we will be able to see much more serious steps to protect Jewish community in Belgium.
European leaders called for restraint and diplomacy following Israel's attack on Iran on Friday, whilst the European Commission President reiterated Israel's right to defend itself and protect its people from Iran.
This is Baltic 2 and Baltic 3, the first ever offshore wind farms to be built in Poland. For a country whose coal industry employed thousands and generated 57% of electricity, the staff at Baltic Power are enthusiastic.
What you can see behind me is actually the first ever construction action. Right now we are installing foundation monopiles and transition pieces. On my right hand, your left, you can see the vessel Lone installed installing transition pieces.
With electricity prices holding consumers and businesses back, Poland hopes these 1.2 gigawatts of electricity will address pricing for up to 1.5 million Polish households, even though fossil fuels now still dominate the mix.
It will need to phase out coal, not only because of climate ambitions, but simply because we don't have coal anymore and we don't want to be reliant on imports from third countries. So it's in the very interest of the Polish economy to invest more into renewables, to invest more in nuclear, and to see some stabilization from natural gas as well.
Nuclear is also on Poland's mind. A few kilometres from here, the first ever nuclear power plant will also be built by the company Baltic Power.
Nuclear will play a quite significant role in the Polish energy mix. So right now the stability or the fundamentals of the electricity system is provided by coal. What we'll see is that the nuclear will provide this baseline, on top of which we'll see renewables and gas as a stabilizer.
Time will tell if Poland's bet on renewables and nuclear works. For now, though, the focus is on weaning off coal and closing down a number of mines in the other side of the country. Maeve McMahon, Euronews, Lejba, Northern Poland.
Surrounded by the sea and having hundreds of islands, residents of Greece are expected to know and respect the safety rules for swimming. However, almost 400 people drown every year in the country in seas and swimming pools, with nearly 300 of them being people over 60 years old. The National Public Health Agency, in collaboration with the NGO Safe Water Sports, say they are now trying to educate the public on the rules to follow.
Το μότο, να το πω έτσι, του Παγκόσμιου Οργανισμού Υγείας είναι ότι ο καθένας μπορεί να πνιγεί, ο καθένας άνθρωπος μπορεί να πνιγεί, κανένας όμως δεν πρέπει. Αυτό είναι κάτι το οποίο πρέπει να σκεφτόμαστε και νομίζω εκεί πρέπει να εστιάσουμε όλες τις δράσεις μας, έτσι ώστε να πετύχουμε πραγματικά κάτι το οποίο να είμαστε περήφανοι σαν χώρα, ότι αντιστρέψαμε την πολύ αρνητική στατιστική που είχαμε και όλοι γνωρίζαμε τα τελευταία χρόνια.
Drowning is the second leading cause of death for children from infancy to 14 years of age, with the lack of a lifeguard being a key factor in drowning incidents.
Δυστυχώς τα περισσότερα συμβάντα συμβαίνουν σε μικρότερη απόσταση από το χιλιόμετρο από την ακτή, σε παραλίες μη φυλασσόμενες από ναυαγοσώστη και η πλειοψηφία των θανάτων, όχι στη θάλασσα αλλά στα εσωτερικά ύδατα, συμβαίνουν σε κολυμπητικές δεξαμενές ξενοδοχείων.
Last year, around 395 people lost their lives in an aquatic environment, with the vast majority being at the sea. 68% of the fatalities were men. In the last 5 years, the only decrease in deaths was in 2020, the year of the pandemic, when there was no tourist flows to the islands. The biggest problem, however, lies amongst the people aged over 70. As in 2024, about 254 of the 388 deaths were in this age category, especially as the first few minutes after being pulled out of the water are critical. This year, an informative commercial was also created with the elderly at its heart. According to the European Child Safety Alliance, each year approximately 50,000 European citizens are injured while participating in water sports or boating activities.
Start strong, even from behind prison walls, where the race is all uphill. That's the symbolic message launched by the Games of Hope, the mini-Olympics that revolutionized the routine of Rome's Rebibbia prison for half a day, where inmates competed against representatives of prison police, civil society members and magistrates.
Dietro di me in pettorina gialla la squadra dei detenuti contro la selezione degli agenti di polizia penitenziaria, una delle partite più sentite di questa prima edizione dei Giochi della Speranza.
Ci troviamo, come dire, apparentemente contrapposti poi in quello che è nelle aule di giustizia, però siamo qua per dire poi la società opera tutta insieme, ricuciamo quella che è un po' la frattura sociale.
From the guards, as the inmates call them, to the judges. Even priests have shed their cassocks to take to the field for the Sportsmen's Jubilee.
Per prendere cura del nostro cuore, della nostra anima, quello è importante, il calcio. Ragione perché siamo qui per dimostrare che davvero dobbiamo farlo.
7-a-side soccer, volleyball, athletics, table soccer, chess and table tennis. CONI President Malago also did not deny himself a few exchanges.
Sembra un'idea provocatoria, ma invece è eccellente. Ho anche chiesto, dice, c'è grande rispetto per gli arbitri, c'è grande rispetto per le regole. Peraltro il CIO è sempre stata vicino a stare vicino a tutte le categorie, gli emarginati, gli emigrati, i carcerati, chi ha avuto meno fortuna. Siamo qui per questo.
Molte volte le iniziative all'interno delle carceri sportive sono delle iniziative un po' spot, degli eventi bellissimi ma una tantum. Noi vorremmo invece costruire un percorso, e questo grazie alla collaborazione con la rete dei magistrati sport e legalità e grazie al DAP, vorremmo costruire un qualche cosa di più istituzionale che possa andare veramente a servizio di tutti gli altri carceri anche.
Manuel is one of those who plays, not only metaphorically, for redemption. A 4-year sentence for drug trafficking, 2 already served. With his teammates, he won the top step of the podium in a 7-side soccer.
Questa giornata ci ha dato modo di interagire con i magistrati, con i giudici, con varie persone, e questo per noi è una cosa molto importante. Ci dà possibilità di divagarci, di distrarci più in questi giorni.